Let's make a plant-based ziti, but amped up with veggies. Welcome back to the Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show, where we make plant-based cooking easy. I'm Jill, and today we're gonna make baked ziti, but we are gonna amp it up. We're gonna put some vegetables in there, and even if you've got picky eaters, they're not gonna know some of this stuff is in there. So we're gonna start with our onions. I've got one diced onion that we're gonna get sauteing first. And you don't need to put oil in here. Just make sure you keep an eye on it. And if it does start sticking a little bit, all you have to do is add just a little bit of water or a little bit of vegetable broth from the recipe. Okay, now we're gonna add our garlic, and this is 2 cloves of minced garlic and 1.5 cups of finely diced cabbage. This is going to amp up the nutrition in a big way. And you're not gonna know it's in there. If you dice it up really, really small, it's just gonna meld into that sauce and you won't even know it's there. So we're just gonna cook this for a few minutes. Okay, and just like when you're cooking your onions, if the cabbage starts to stick a little, just sprinkle a little bit of water in there and it'll come right off, no problem. All right, so the next part, we're gonna put in our tomato paste. And this is 1 6-ounce can of tomato paste. And you'll want to get it on the pan and get that cooking a little bit, just kind of stirring it back and forth just to kind of roast it. And it really intensifies the flavor of that before we add our other ingredients. Okay, so next we're going to add our spices, and all of our spices today are from our partner Essential Organics, who carry over 600 organic products. And if you want to check them out, you can use the code PLANTBASEDEASY at checkout for 10% off of your order. All right, so we're gonna use, we've got 1 teaspoon of basil, 1 teaspoon of oregano, a 1/2 teaspoon of thyme, and a 1/2 teaspoon of rosemary, and 2 teaspoons of parsley. We're just gonna stir those out around a little bit. Okay, now we're gonna add our other ingredients in here. I've got 1.5 cups of frozen chopped spinach. You can also use fresh. You'll probably have to use just a little bit more because you know how when you cook spinach, it just shrinks down to almost nothing. 1 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes. 1.5 cups of lentils. These are just regular brown lentils, already cooked. A tablespoon of low sodium tamari. A generous amount of cracked pepper. And then 1/2 cup of a low sodium vegetable broth. And if you wanted to make it just a little bit spicy, you could add like 1/2 teaspoon of red pepper flakes. All right, so now we're just gonna let this cook and simmer just a little bit just to kind of get all those flavors mixed in together. And while this is cooking, you're gonna wanna get your penne pasta cooking. So 10 ounces of penne pasta. If you're gluten-free, go ahead and do your gluten-free penne pasta. And then you wanna preheat your oven to 350 degrees. While we're waiting for that, I'd like to share some background on our show. The Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show is crowd-funded, which means these free weekly recipe videos, along with our entire catalog of free printable recipes on our website, plantbasedcookingshow.com, and our Plant-Based Cooking Made Easy cookbook series are all made possible in part by the generous patronage of our supporting membership community. So if you love our recipes, I invite you to join us on our mission to make plant-based cooking easy, and follow the link in the description to become a supporting member today. There's no denying the plant-based diet is a nutrient powerhouse, but did you know there are a handful of hard-to-get nutrients even well-crafted diets are often lacking? The latest research suggests that complementing your diet with a few specific vitamins, minerals, and omega-3s will help boost your energy and keep you thriving for the long term. That's why my daily health routine includes Complement Essential. Complement Essential contains the 8 critical nutrients lacking from most plant-based diets in dosages optimized specifically for us. As a special discount for our viewers, just use code PLANTBASEDEASY at checkout to save 15% off of your order. So now onto our cheese that's gonna go on the top. So I've got 1/2 cup of ground almonds or almond flour. You could also use cashews, that would work too. And if you are nut-free, you could also use sunflower seeds. Those will work too. It'll just taste a little bit different. 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 1 tablespoon of white wine vinegar, a teaspoon of low sodium tamari, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 tablespoon of tapioca starch. You could also use arrowroot starch. And then 1/2 cup of water. And we're just going to mix this up until it's really nice and creamy. Super, super simple. And it looks a little bit runny at this point, but once it bakes onto the ziti, it's going to turn into magic. So I'm going to get the pasta and the mixture, and we're going to assemble it all together. All right, so now that our pasta is done, I cooked it to just al dente. You don't want to fully cook it, because then if you mix that all together and then bake it on top of that, your noodles are just going to be mush. So just al dente. So now we're just going to stir that in to our pasta. And then you're going to need some kind of casserole dish. And this is just a 9x9, like a brownie size casserole dish. But you know, whatever dish you have will work just fine. This is such a nice dish right now, because I'm sure, as well as you guys, it is really, really cold here and still icy outside. Can't really get out on those streets. So this is a really nice, hot, comforting meal to have at home. And it smells amazing already. Okay, there we go. Now you're gonna just pour it in your casserole dish. And just smooth it around a little bit so the top is pretty smooth. You don't want those pasta noodles sticking up too much, because then when they bake, they'll just dry out and get really hard. Right? Just like that. Then we're going to pour our cheese over the top. There we go. Now we're going to stick it into the oven for 40 minutes. All right, everybody, it is done. If you want to come in and take a look. Oh, it smells so good. And I'm going to let this cool for a few minutes before I meet you at the table for a taste. All right, let's dig in. It just smells so good. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, it's steamy still. All right. So warm and comforting. You are going to love it. Come on back next week for another great recipe.